So earlier, I heard one of the readers talking about, uh, how certain, black people, you can have children with certain types of white folks. Remember, not everybody is white. That's white. But she mentioned that, I think she knew somebody that had some children with some. I think some black people had some children with some German. One second, y'all. With some German people or a German person, and the kids, they come out with these deficiencies. Sometimes it's mentally, sometimes it's physical. And then she came back later and made another video apologizing about it. But that's actually true. Not every bloodline is supposed to mix. That's why. And some people go so far as to just really keep it in the family. That's how, serious it is when it comes to blood. You can't mix with everybody. And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with being prejudiced at all. It has to do with the fact of your children being mentally and physically healthy. Like let's say you're a black person and you mix with some type of white people or something like this, then the children, they can have like bone deficiencies. You see, so we're not talking about being prejudiced when we're talking about stuff like that, mixing races. We're talking about the health of the children and stuff like this. Things certain bloodlines are not supposed to mix. If you're a black person and you're trying to have interracial children, there are certain white folks you can mix with, and there are certain white folks you can't mix with. You have to know that. I told you guys back in the day that, the so-called white women that I dated, like, were Irish, and one was a mulatto. I really never dated a pure, like, white person before. The white women, so-called white women that I dated, they were like, they had that melanin in them. You see what I'm saying? I dated a Serbian woman. Same thing. They had that melanin in them because the Moors, they spreaded their seed throughout Europe. So you have to know what you're doing when it comes to that stuff. But I just wanted to make a comment because the the lady came back later and she apologized for what she said. But I just wanted to make a comment about that. No, you can't mix with everybody. And we're not just talking about black and white. We're talking about white and white. You have, when it comes to blood, man, so I think that's the one of the things we've lost the knowledge of. And then there's certain black people, even Bobby Hemmett talked about certain blacks that don't mix with other blacks based on mental illnesses that run through bloodlines in black people. There's a lot of mental illness that runs in the bloodline of black people. You gotta be careful with that. Let's see how much time we got. Yeah, I can close it out. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, y'all. You gotta be careful when you mixing with anybody these days.